Zara, thank you so much for joining us in the fabulous Moor in Glasgow, which you have sold out twice.
Yeah, it felt kind of crazy. It was obviously really nice to feel that support from people, and it was also terrifying because I was like, all right, I actually have to do this now. I think.
Take me back to how you got into comedy, because you've been doing it for what, 11 or so years now? Or
yeah, I've been dipping into it for a long time without ever fully committing to it. When I was studying for my PhD, and I got involved with a night called Bright Club where you did comedy about your specialist subject. So my first gig was in a pub in Edinburgh when I did comedy about crayfish to the tune of Lady Gaga.
I mean, different.
Yeah, unconventional route in.
Did you love comedy when you were growing up as a little girl? Were you the person at the family parties making everyone laugh?
No, so like as a child I was actually really shy. I didn't really make people laugh particularly, but I've always been a huge comedy fan. You know, growing up I was watching sitcoms and sketch shows like Smack the Pony, and then I started going to live comedy in my 20s. I think I was quite old the first time I actually went through to the Fringe. I think I was that stubborn Glaswegian, like, whatever. And then I went through and was like, oh my God, this is the biggest arts festival in the world.
I guess the internet really changed things as well, because you really started to take off with social media clips.
Yeah, I think that all began for me in the pandemic, really, when I got TikTok and I started making comedy on there. And without the internet, I wouldn't be sat here chatting to you, Laura. So
it does wonderful things.
Yes.
What was the first video that really took off?
I think on TikTok I started a series about, you know, when you're lying in bed at 2 a.m. and you suddenly think of something that you did 20 years ago and you can't sleep. But then the West End mum, which seems to be more popular, I think I made that almost a year ago.
And it is such a funny observation because you do see those characters out and about. Are you in certain places like Waitrose, etc., going, I'm using that?
Oh yeah, nobody's safe. My ears are always open and there's no shortage of content if you hang around these parts. So,
what's beautiful about your comedy is you hit the nail on the head for so many things. The indie boy as well, the kind of tragic indie boy singer. I mean, we all know one of them, don't we?
Yeah, that's actually one of my favourites to perform. I really like a sticky on beard, and we have all met these guys maybe in our 20s. Maybe we've made some mistakes and they're still out there, so be safe.
Now Zara, I have to come to one very serious matter. When I'm not on What's on Scotland, I am on STV News. And you did a parody of generic news reporter where she spoke a lot like that. Tell me a bit about how that came about.
Just from watching the news, and I thought, why do they do that? What, you know, do they go to some kind of training where they have to use, you know, this level of sombre? And then I just started messing about in my flat.
I'm not going to lie, when I sit with that mic now, recording a voiceover, I'm like, am I too Zara? Am I too... It's been amazing to chat to you. Can't wait to see the show. Can you sign out in true STV News style?
Of course. I've been Zara Gladman, Moor.